This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You're watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Now, I watched an interview on IFL TV with Lou DiBella. Now, I'm going to do a separate video on some of the many other things that he said. And to be honest with you, I think that Lou DiBella has been given a bit of a raw deal all around. But as I said, I'm going to do a separate video on that one. Now, within this interview, he said that apparently it's not the first time that he said it, but it's the first time that I've ever heard it from him, is that he was released, or better worded, fired by Deontay Wilder for getting him in contact with DAZN's John Skipper about making the Anthony Joshua fight for undisputed, which, as we know, Wilder was offered in the region of $100 million to fight Anthony Joshua. Now, we do also know that they didn't even try to negotiate. Who knows? They could have got even more money and maybe a better deal. Even though 100 million you would think would be a very, very sweet deal considering the amount of money that he was earning. And even now, it's still not comparable to the offer that DAZN offered him. Now, for Lou DiBella to get fired for putting him in contact and setting up a meeting for Deontay Wilder, that seems to me that that's not a move by Deontay Wilder. Because if you've got somebody working for you, which Lou DiBella, a promoter, works for Deontay Wilder, and if your promoter is trying to get you the best deal and give you other options, that means he's doing his job. That means he's good to have in your team, right? So there's no reason in the world why Wilder would get rid of Lou DiBella unless Wilder is advised or told to get rid of Lou DiBella. And there's plenty of reasons as to why they would have done that. Lou DiBella, of course, he's got many different fighters, Tevin Farmer, Derevchenko, and the list goes on. And a lot of those guys do tend to be fighting on DAZN. So, in my opinion, Premier Boxing Champions, the PBC, Al Heyman, kind of seen Lou DiBella as maybe a bit of a turncoat. Maybe. The fact that he's helping a rival platform. Basically, they're making it personal rather than business. Well, it's kind of business as well, but it's a case of they wouldn't be happy about the fact that he was trying to help one of their clients, Deontay Wilder, get a huge deal. Because all we've heard for quite some time is, Wilder, I want the fight, one face, one name, one champion, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And it appears, for me and many of you guys looking in from the outside, looking in, like Wilder's being controlled or Wilder's lying. Which one is it? It has to be one of them, surely to God. Because it does seem that maybe his team don't really have the best interest of Wilder, they have the best interest of themselves. They work for the PBC with a network of Showtime, with a network of Fox Sports. So when you present him, as in Wilder, an opportunity to fight on another platform, they're not going to be happy about it because it's not in their best interest, is it? Even though, say, Shelley Finkel, he's still going to get a cut because he's manager of Wilder, so no matter where it is Wilder goes, he's still going to get a bit of a cut. Al Heyman, he'll still get a bit of a cut because he's advisor. But they would have no control over it. They want control of it. They want to put fights with Wilder and all their clients on Showtime, on Fox Sports. More so nowadays than Fox Sports over Showtime. Showtime seems to be fleeting out a little bit now. But I think that they potentially told Wilder to get rid of Lou DiBella. Now that will tell you exactly what it is that me and many other people have been telling you, that while the PBC fighters, they are essentially free agents, but they are still somewhat controlled. They have a very good way of, we can call it manipulation, potentially, over their clients. I mean, look at it. Wilder turned down $100 million. Didn't try to negotiate. That will tell you that either himself or his team didn't want Wilder fighting Joshua and or on DAZN, on a rival network. So they cut his nose off to spite their own face. That's pretty much what they've done. Look at it with Gervonta Davis. He's not allowed to go over to DAZN. He's had to turn down multi-million dollars to go fight, say, Tevin Farmer. because he's not allowed to do it. Look at Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo, just even recently, he's been offered an opportunity to fight Demetrius Andrade in a unification. Again, on DAZN, but also Andrade can go over to Showtime or Fox Sports, however they want it. They can get it done. And for whatever reason, it appears that Jamal Charlo is not allowed to do that. And it goes on and on and on. So in a sense, PBC are kind of holding back their own fighters, whether you're a PBC fan or whether you're not. For me, I hope that PBC are very, very successful, because the more that they do, it puts pressure on other platforms, the better and bigger fights that everyone's going to get. But when it comes down to the boxing politics of it, I think it's pretty clear to see that potentially they don't really have their clients, their fighters' best interests at heart. They've got their own interests at heart. And for Wilder to be told and advised to fire Lou DiBella, because he's not going to do that off his own back, is he? I mean, apparently him and Lou DiBella have been good friends for a number of years. And whether you like Lou DiBella or whether you don't, he's very, very biased when it comes to his own clients. And so he should be. That's his job. That's what he gets paid to do. So to fire Lou DiBella because he set up a meeting to make the undisputed fight, but on a rival network he gets fired. That doesn't make any kind of sense. None whatsoever. But what it tells me, and I'm sure it tells many of you guys, is that Wilder is controlled. Wilder fans, Wilder nut huggers, you may not like to hear that, but that is essentially what's happened, is it not? Even Shady Finkel said quite some time ago, didn't he? The fight between Wilder and Joshua will happen for undisputed, of course, providing that they've all still got the belts, when Shady Finkel has a good relationship with John Skipper, head of DAZN. So Shady Finkel needs to have a good relationship with John Skipper of DAZN to make that fight. If he doesn't have a good relationship, that fight isn't going to happen. So that will tell you that Shady Finkel, who does not have a good relationship with Eddie Hearn, is the one who's telling Wilder, you're not taking that fight. Is he withholding information from Wilder? I don't know. All I can do is speculate on things. But from the outside looking in, some things do seem pretty clear that Wilder is controlled. Like it or don't like it. Pretty much you can lump it. Because that is essentially what it looks like is happening. Wilder is not the smartest man in the world. Let's be honest about it. Yes, he's got a deadly punch inside the ring, of course. But he's been carefully managed his entire career. He was never allowed to go fight Vladimir Klitschko. Even on 33 fights, because he's still a baby and a prospect. Remember that one? So all these kind of things, they kind of add up. And anybody who says that it's not true, or maybe I'm being a bit deluded, based on what evidence? I've given you the evidence that says that the PBC guys are controlled. Most notably, Wilder is controlled. He may well want the Joshua fight. He may well be quite comfortable taking that fight and confident taking that fight. Certain things would tell me that he's not, but his team are not confident in him. His team like to control. His team like to have in-house fights. Wilder turned down a huge offer from Top Rank, didn't he? Yeah, for ESPN. Did he turn that down? But now he's allowed the Fury fight because it's a co-promotional deal. So Fox Sports are involved. Now, I'm not saying that Fox Sports insisted on this. I'm not saying Showtime insisted on all this kind of stuff, but the PBC will want it. PBC will want their fighters on their own platforms. And there's nothing wrong with wanting it, but surely you should have your client's best interests at heart. Which is why when they told Wilder to turn down this offer, they had to pay Wilder a stupid amount of money to fight Dominic Brazil on free-to-air Showtime. This is why Showtime didn't pick up the option to show Wilder versus Ortiz Part 2. They refused to do it because it wasn't financially viable. In Stephen Espinosa's own words, it wasn't financially viable because they already lost out a crap load of money. But now Fox Sports, these guys have very, very deep pockets, so here we go. Now, ultimately, it may work out one day that it was actually the right move. But ultimately, whether it's about the money or whether it's not, he missed out on undisputed. Undisputed. Because they don't want, and they're trying to stop, their clients from going over to DAZN. You could argue, well, they let Andy Ruiz go over there. Yeah, Andy Ruiz was always just going to be an opponent at some point. He was going to be an opponent for Charles Martin, an opponent for Brazil, an opponent for Wilder, Kaunaki, Ortiz, etc. And Andy Ruiz Jr., he proved a lot of people wrong. Had they have known that Andy Ruiz Jr. could actually rival these guys, there's probably a very good chance that they wouldn't have let him go. Which is why when Luis Ortiz was offered $7 million to fight Anthony Joshua before Ruiz took up the option, Ortiz got told, you're not taking that fight. Even Luis Ortiz, his trainer, said, we didn't even know about any of this until it was too late. See, so they are keeping their guys on that side of the street. Errol Spence Jr., he's even spoke himself about that side of the street. So PBC fanboys, you need to be looking in the mirror and saying, what exactly are we supporting? Are you speaking up about this? Probably not. Probably not. But ultimately, it appears from the outside looking in, that's exactly what's going on. How do you fire Lou DiBella just because he tried to get you the undisputed fight, the fight that you said that you wanted? And for $100 million, which is way more money than Wilder's ever seen in his life for back-to-back fights with Anthony Joshua, with the first fight happening in America. But he didn't want to do it. Or maybe he did, but his team told him to turn it down. That will tell you that Wilder is just a puppet for these guys. He's controlled by these guys. Anyway, that's my thoughts. You drop me yours. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.